This question is asking us to work out 376 times 14. In this video, I'm going to use long multiplication to work out the answers. If you've got a different method of multiplying numbers that you prefer, you can use that instead, and you should get the same answers. So the question 376 times 14, I'm going to start by lining up my numbers. So line up the tens with the tens and the ones with the ones. So long multiplication works by splitting the 14 up into 10 and 4. So we're going to multiply 4 by 376 and then 10 on the next line by 376 and add them together. So I'll start with 4 times 376, and I always start with the smallest column, which is the ones. So I'm going to do 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24. I can't put 24 in the ones column, so I put 4 in the ones and carry 2 over into the tens. Now in the tens, I've got 4 times 7. 4 times 7 is 28, plus the 2 I've carried over makes 30. So I'm going to put the 0 in the tens and carry 3 over into the hundreds. And in the hundreds, I've got 4 times 3, that's 12, plus the 3 I've carried over is 15. So the 5 goes in the hundreds. I carry 1 over into the thousands. There's no multiplication in the thousands, so I've just got the 1 there. Now we're going to do 10 times 376. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add a 0 here because we're multiplying by 10. So I'm going to be doing 10 times 6. 10 times 6 isn't going to be 6. I don't want it in the ones column. 10 times 6 is going to be 60. So I want that in the tens column. So everything shifts over a column because I'm multiplying by 10 this time. So 1 times 6 is 6. So I've got 6 in the tens. 1 7 is 7. And 1 3 is 3. So I've multiplied 4 by 376, 10 by 376, and I'm going to add them together to get 14 times 376. So I'm going to add down the columns, starting with the smallest one again. 4 plus 0 is 4. 0 plus 6 in the tens is 6. 5 plus 7 is 12 in the hundreds. So 2 goes into the hundreds and 1 carries over to the thousands. And I've got 1 plus 3 plus 1, which is 5 in the thousands. So I've got 5,264. Okay, question for you to try. So pause the video, give it a go, and press play when you're ready for the answer. Okay, so let's line up our numbers. 291 times 25. So I'm going to do 5 times 291 first, starting with the smallest column. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 nines are 45. So the 5 is going to go in the tens, and 4 is going to carry over into the hundreds. Then in the hundreds, I've got 5 times 2, which is 10, plus the 4, 14. Carry over the 1, but there's nothing to add it onto, so it's just going to be 1,000. I'm going to multiply by 20 now, so I'm going to add a 0. Because I'm multiplying by 20 instead of 2, all of my answers are going to shift over one column. So I'm going to do 2 times 1, which is 2. 2 times 9, which is 18. So 8, and carry over the 1. And 2 times 2, which is 4, plus the 1 I've carried over. So 5. So I've got 5 times 291 and 20 times 291. I'm going to add them together. So starting with the smallest column, the ones, 5 plus nothing is 5. The tens, 5 plus 2 is 7. The hundreds, 4 plus 8 is 12. So I'm going to carry over the 1. And the thousands, I've got 1 plus 5 plus 1, which is 7. So I've got 7,275. Now we're going to look at multiplying decimals. So I've got a question that says 4.37 times 1.8. I'm going to make it easier and change the question. So I'm going to actually work out 437 times 18. I'm going to take out the decimals and I'll put them back in at the end. So 4.37 times 1.8, I'm changing into 437 times 18. And let's look at what I've done to get there. I've multiplied 4.37 by 10 twice to get 437, and multiplied 1.8 by 10 once to get 18. So I've times 10 3 times, and I'm going to undo that at the end. So for now, we'll just worry about 437 times 18. So I'm going to line up my numbers. Tens with tens, ones with ones. To times by 18, I'm going to times by 8 and times by 10 and add them together. So I'm going to start with 8 times 437. Start with the smallest column, so 8 times 7. 8 sevens are 56. So 6 goes in the ones, and I carry 5 over into the tens. In the tens, I've got 8 times 3, which is 24, plus the 5, 29. So keep 9 in the tens, 2 carries over into the hundreds, and in the hundreds, I've got 8 fours, which is 32, plus the 2, 34. So I carry over 3. There's nothing else in the thousands, so it's going to be 3,000. Now I'm going to multiply 10 by 437. I'm going to add a 0 because I'm multiplying by 10. 10 times 7 is 70, not 7. So 10 times 7 is 70. And then 1 3 is 3. 1 4 is 4. So we're going to add them up. I've got 8 times 437 and 10 times 437. I'm going to add them up to get 18 times 437. 6 plus nothing is 6. 9 plus 7 is 16. So 6 carry over the 1. 4 plus 3 plus 1 is 8. And 4 plus 3 or 3 plus 4 is 7. So I've got 7,866. I'll write that down. 7,866. But remember, that wasn't the question. So we've worked out 437 times 18. So we multiplied by 10 3 times. There were 3 numbers after the decimal places in the question. So we want to undo that. So we're going to divide by 10 3 times now. And that means there will be 3 places, 3 numbers after the decimal place in the answer. So if there's 3 numbers after the decimal place in the question, we're going to have 3 numbers after the decimal place in the answer. So the answer is 7.866. Okay, question for you to try. Pause the video, give it a go, and press play when you're ready to carry on. So we've got 35.2 times 6.1. So we're going to work out 352 times 61. So I've multiplied by 10 2 times to get that. So I'm going to undo that in the answer. I'm going to line up the numbers. 352 times 61. So we're going to do 1 times 352, which is straightforward. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 5 is 5. 1, 3 is 3. Then I'm going to multiply by 60 now. So I'm going to add a 0 on because it's 10 times bigger for all of the columns. So 6 2s are 12. So 2 carry over 1. 6 5s, 30, plus the 1, 31. Carry over the 3. And 6 3s are 18, plus the 3 is 21. So 1, carry over the 2. There's nothing to add it onto, so it just becomes 20,000. So add up now. 2 plus 0 is 2. In the tens, 5 plus 2 is 7. Hundreds, 3 plus 1 is 4. There's nothing to add on. So 0 plus 1 is 1, and 0 plus 2 is 2. So I've got 21,472. But again, so I'll write 21,472. There were 2 numbers after decimal points in the question, so there's going to be 2 numbers after the decimal points in the answer. We times by 10 twice to change the question, so we divide by 10 twice to get the right answer. And to finish up, 6 questions. Pause the video, give them a go, press play when you're ready for the answers. Okay, the first question, we've got 49 times 63. So we're going to line up our numbers, 49 and 63. 10's lined with 10's, 1's lined with 1's. And we're going to start by doing 3 times 49. So the smallest column first, 3 9's are 27. So 7 goes in the 1's, and we carry 2 over to the 10's. Then 3 4's, 12, plus the 2, 14. So 4 goes in the 10's, 1 goes into the hundreds. There's nothing to add it onto, no multiplication going on, so it's just 100. Then we do 60 times 49. We're going to add a 0 because we're not multiplying by 6, we're multiplying by 60. So all the answers will be 10 times bigger. And we've got 6 9's, which are 54. So 4 carry over the 5. 6 4's, 24, plus the 5, 29. So 9 in the hundreds, carry 2 over into the thousands. There's nothing to add it onto, so it's just going to be 2,000. We're going to add these up now. So start with the smallest column again. 7 plus 0 is 7. 4 plus 4 is 8. 1 plus 9 is 10. So 0, carry over the 1. So we've got 2 plus 1 in the thousands, which is 3. So we've got our answer of 3,087. Question 2. 425 times 17. So again, line up the numbers. And we're going to start with 7 times 425. So start with the smallest column. 7 5's are 35. So 5 in the 1's, carry over the 3. 7 times 2 is 14, plus the 3, so 17. And 7 and carry over the 1 again. 7 times 4 is 28, plus the 1 is 29. Now we've got to do 10 times 425. We add a 0 because it's 10 times bigger than 1 times 425. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. So then we can add up. Start with the ones. So 5 plus 0 is 5. In the tens, 7 plus 5 is 12. So we'll put the 2 in the tens, carry the 1 over. We've got 9 plus 2 plus 1, which is 12 again. So 2 in the hundreds, carry 1 over to the thousands. And I've got 2 plus 4 plus 1, which is 7. So we've got 7,225. Question 3. We've got 824 times 35. So we're going to do 5 times 824 and then 30 times 824 and add them together. So 5 times 4 first, that's 20. So we have a 0 in the ones, carry over the 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 2, 12. So 2 in the tens, carry 1 over to the hundreds. And 5 times 8 is 40, plus the 1, 41. Then we're going to multiply by 30. We're going to add a 0 because multiplying by 30 is 10 times bigger than multiplying by 3. So 3 fours are 12. So 2 and carry over the 1. 3 twos are 6, plus the 1 is 7. And 3 eights are 24. So we have 4 in the thousands and 2 in the 10,000s. So let's add these up. 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 plus 2 is 4. 1 plus 7 is 8. 4 plus 4 is 8. And 2 plus nothing is 2. So we've got 28,840. Question 5. So 52 times 6.8. We're going to work out 52 times 68 and then put the decimal back in at the end. So 52 times 68. So 8 times 52 first. 8 times 2 is 16. So 6 in the ones, carry 1 over to the tens. 8 times 5 is 40, plus the 1, 41. Then I'm going to multiply 60 by 52. So add the 0 because I'm multiplying by 60, not 6. And 6 times 2 is 12. So 2 in the tens, carry 1 over to the hundreds. And 6 times 5 is 30, plus the 1 is 31. So let's add these together. 6 plus 0, 6. 1 plus 2, 3. 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 plus nothing is 3. So I've got 3,536. 3,536. But we've got to put the decimal back in. We multiplied the question by 10 once. There was one number after the decimal place. So we divide the answer by 10. Or say there's one number after the decimal place in the answer. Question 5. 7.25 times 4.6. So we're going to do 725 times 46. So 6 times 725 first. 6 times 5 is 30. So 0 in the ones, carry 3 over. 6 times 2 is 12, plus the 3 is 15. 5 in the tens, carry 1 over. And 6 sevens are 42, plus the 1, 43. Now we're going to do 40 times 725. So I'm going to add a 0 because that's 10 times bigger than 4 times 725. 4 fives are 20. So 0 in the tens, carry 2 over to the hundreds. 4 twos are 8, plus the 2, that's 10. So 0 again, carry 1 over. And 4 sevens are 28, plus the 1, 29. So let's add these numbers up. 0 plus 0 in the ones is 0. 5 plus 0 in the tens, 5. 3 plus 0 in the hundreds, 3. 4 plus 9 in the thousands, which is 13. So 3 in the thousands, carry 1 over into the 10,000s. So we've got 2 plus 1 in the 10,000s, which is 3. We times the question by 10 3 times, or we had 3 numbers after decimal places. So we're going to divide by 10 3 times, or have 3 numbers after decimal places in the answer, which is 33.35. We don't need to write the 0, so we can just say 33.35. And finally, question 6. So we've got 36.7 times 0.89. So we're going to work out 367 times 89, and we'll add the decimals back in at the end. So we'll start with 9 times 367. 9 sevens are 63. So 3 in the ones, carry the 6. 9 times 6 is 54, plus the 6 makes 60. So 0 and carry a 6. 9 threes are 27, plus the 6, 33. Now we do 80 times 367. So it's 10 times bigger than 8. So we add a 0. 8 times 7 is 56. So 6 and carry a 5. 8 times 6 is 48, plus the 5, 53. So 3, carry the 5. And 8 times 3 is 24, plus the 5, 29. So add them up. 3 plus 0 is 3. 0 plus 6 is 6. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 9 is 12. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So I've got 32,663. But let's change it back. So I had 3 numbers after the decimal point in the question. So I want 3 numbers after the decimal point in the answer. So 32.663.